The first machine in history may not have been made from stone, wood, or metal. It may have been made from memory, long before telescopes, before computers, before satellites, and before clocks that could measure seconds. Ancient scribes in Mesopotamia were already watching the sky like it had rules. They watched the moon disappear and return. They watched stars rise in the same part of the year. They watched planets move across the night like wandering lights. And sometimes, they watched the sun go dark in the middle of the day. To us, these events are part of astronomy, but to them, the sky was alive with meaning. A dark sun could feel like a warning. A red moon could feel like danger. A strange planet could make a king afraid. But over time, something changed. The sky stopped looking random. It began to look like a system. The moon came back. The seasons returned. The stars followed paths. Even the most frightening events seem to repeat. And once something repeats, it can be recorded. Once it can be recorded, it can be studied. Once it can be studied, it can be predicted. And once it can be predicted, it becomes a machine. But this machine had no gears. It had no wheels. It had no metal parts. It was built from clay tablets, careful eyes, and memory passed from one generation to the next. And that is where the real mystery begins. Because if the Sumerians helped turn the sky into a machine, then someone had to build the first record of how that machine worked. Someone had to watch first. Someone had to write first. Someone had to notice that the heavens were not random. So the real question is not only what the Sumerians knew, the real question is this: who started the sky machine? Sumer was one of the first great city civilizations. It grew in southern Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This land gave the world some of the earliest cities, temples, schools, trade systems, and written records we still have. The Sumerians did not write on paper. They pressed signs into wet clay using a reed tool. That writing is called cuneiform. The marks looked like small wedges. Simple marks at first, but over time, those marks became one of the most important record systems in human history. Most clay tablets were not mysterious. They were normal records. They counted grain. They listed workers. They tracked sheep, goats, land, taxes, temple goods, and trade. They recorded who owed what. They recorded what came in and what went out. They were the paperwork of the ancient world. But some tablets were different. Some tablets were not about what humans owed each other. They were about what the sky was doing. The moon, the planets, the stars, the strange signs above the horizon. The sky became something worth writing down. And that matters because clay has a strange power. A person dies. A memory fades. A city falls. A kingdom ends. But a tablet can remain. A tablet can sit buried for thousands of years. It can survive after the voice that created it is gone. It can outlive the hand that pressed the signs into it. That is why these records matter. Clay became the memory of the sky. And over time, those memories became part of something much larger than one person. They became an archive. To us, the sky can feel like scenery. Something beautiful above us, something we look at when we have time. But to ancient people, the sky was not background. The sky was connected to survival. It helped decide when to plant, when to harvest, when rivers might rise, when festivals should begin, when kings should be warned, when the gods were believed to be angry. A dark moon was not just strange. A red moon was not just beautiful. An eclipse was not just an event. It could feel like the whole order of the world had been disturbed. Imagine standing in an ancient city when the sun begins to disappear. There is no modern explanation, no science teacher, no news alert, no phone in your hand, no one telling you it is safe. there is only daylight turning into shadow. To an ancient city, it could feel like a threat. So watching the sky was not a hobby. It was not just curiosity. It was survival. A temple that understood the sky could guide the calendar. A priest who understood the moon could control the timing of rituals. A king who received warnings from sky watchers could prepare before fear spread. To us, the sky is scenery. To them, the sky was a warning system. And warning systems only become powerful when someone learns how to read them. Here's the problem. To know that the sky repeats, you need records. Not one record, not two records, many records across many years. If a cycle takes 18 years, one cycle gives you only a clue. 2 cycles give you a stronger clue. 3 cycles begin to show a real pattern. More cycles create confidence. That means useful prediction may require decades or even centuries of careful records. And those records must be clear. They need dates. They need details. They need to be copied correctly. They need to survive floods, fires, wars, broken cities, and lost archives. This is why the Mesopotamian record chain matters. Later, Babylonian astronomers had strong sky records. They tracked the moon, planets, stars, and eclipses with great care, but they were not starting from nothing. They inherited older traditions, older names, older star lists, older calendars, older omen texts, older records. So when we see a later tablet with advanced sky knowledge, we should not only ask what date the tablet was made, we should ask a deeper question. How old is the knowledge inside it? The clay may be younger than the memory it carries. A tablet can be copied long after the first observation was made. A scribe can preserve an old record inside a newer tablet. A later archive can hold knowledge from an earlier age. And that changes everything, because the prediction is not the only mystery. The prediction implies an archive, and the archive points backward. And this is where many people make a mistake. They see ancient omen texts and think there are only 2 choices. Either the text is perfect science, or it is useless myth. But ancient records are not that simple. A tablet can be wrong about what an eclipse means and still be right that an eclipse happened. A scribe may believe the moon warned the king. Modern people may reject that meaning. But the observation itself can still matter. The date can matter. The description can matter. The sky position can matter. The timing can matter. The direction of the shadow can matter. This is why these records are so powerful. Later, Mesopotamian cultures did not build their sky knowledge from nothing. They copied, they preserved, they inherited. Sumer passed into Akkad. Akkad passed into Babylon. Babylon passed into Assyria. Texts were copied and recopied. Names changed. Languages changed. Cities rose and fell. But the record habit continued. This means the tablet we find may not be the first page, it may be the surviving page. That is one of the most important ideas in this story. The tablet in a museum may be young compared to the knowledge it carries. It may preserve an older list, an older observation, an older pattern, an older fear. And if that is true, then the visible archive is only the surface. Behind it is a missing layer, and behind that, maybe another. So the real question is not only what the Sumerians knew, it is how far back the chain goes. Who first decided the sky needed memory? Who wrote the first note? Who saw the first pattern? Who taught the next generation to keep watching? This is where Sumer becomes so powerful as a starting point. Sumer stands near the beginning of writing, near the beginning of cities, near the beginning of recorded law, trade, kingship, and temple life. But even there, the traditions often point backward. They speak of knowledge being received, knowledge being preserved, knowledge being handed down. They do not always describe civilization as something invented from nothing. They often describe it as something given, recovered, or carried forward. And in later Mesopotamian tradition, there is a strange group called the Apkallu. They are often described as ancient sages. They are linked with wisdom, teaching, order, ritual, and knowledge from before the flood. To a modern viewer, this sounds like myth. And it may be myth. But the important question is not whether every detail is literal. The important question is why the tradition remembers knowledge as something inherited. Why does the story point backward? Why does civilization describe some of its wisdom as received, preserved, or handed down? The Apkallu may not solve the mystery, but they show that the ancients also believed knowledge had a deeper source. Maybe the myth is not the proof. Maybe the myth is the clue that the people themselves knew the knowledge was inherited. And when we place that idea beside the sky records, the question becomes even stronger. If the sky machine was built from memory, how old was the first memory? Because every archive has a first entry. Every record chain has a beginning. Every system has a moment when someone noticed something and decided it mattered enough to preserve. Maybe it was a moon phase. Maybe it was a star rising. Maybe it was a flood season. Maybe it was an eclipse so frightening that someone pressed the memory into clay so it would not be forgotten. We do not have that first tablet. We may never find it, but the later records suggest that someone began the chain. Someone looked up and realized the sky was not only beautiful, it was repeating. And if it was repeating, it could be remembered. If it could be remembered, it could be compared. If it could be compared, it could be predicted. And if it could be predicted, it could become power. Maybe the most amazing part is not that ancient people watched the sky. Maybe it is not even that they predicted events. Maybe the most amazing part is that they preserved enough memory for prediction to become possible. Because no single person can watch the sky long enough to unlock every cycle. A person dies. A record can survive. A generation forgets. A tablet can be copied. That is how the sky became a machine. Not through one moment, not through one genius, but through memory passed forward. The real machine was not in the sky. It was in the archive. The moon moved. The stars returned. The eclipses came and went. But the machine only became visible because someone kept the memory. The Sumerians did not just look up. They remembered. And when the sky was remembered for long enough, it became a machine. But every machine has a first builder. Every archive has a first entry. Somewhere behind the records we still have, someone wrote the first sky note. Someone saw the first pattern. Someone taught others to keep watching. And that is the question still hiding in the clay. Not just what did the Sumerians know, but who started the sky machine?